struggling, especially against so much pickup potential from the side of S11.
Yeah, I feel like we're in a weird place, right? Where you're still seeing Beatrix picked up a lot, but the win rate just isn't there. But you know, obviously these teams spent a lot of time practicing. We saw a lot of Beatrix 1-1 previously, right, throughout the year and everything. So we'll see again how you utilize that gold lane, because honestly, it's not always about the gold lane in these matchups, which we're seeing here. And I also love that Benedetta band coming out from S11 because of just the massive game that we saw Takashi have, and even in that versus, you saw the signature pick was actually the Terizla there, right? Do we possibly see a ban towards that? Is it possible that that comes out here, or is he actually going to be playing the Fredrin? I mean, that's the biggest question, where exactly Takashi's going.
See, that's why the flex picks are just so good in the first phase, right? It really makes the opponents think, and S11, they're going to have to go for a ban towards the XP. Not the Terizla, but it's the hero with the initial T. It's the Tamiz in the XP that's going to be banned out, right? We haven't seen a lot of Tamiz.
I think it's just White Chicken, man.
It's just White, right?
It's just White.
Yeah, that was a very impressive game from White Chicken, though.
Yeah.
Maybe S11, that is what they want to avoid, right? They want to go for pickoffs, but if they're up against a very solid EXP laner that can go up against multiple members at the same time, then that will actually throw a wrench into their macro setups. So I think it's a smart move, but RRQ Akira, they have a lot more options here still. They can go for that Lolita that's still available, and that is a hero that Luis has shown to be playing so well.
Mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get our answer in
Paramis?
just a couple
Lunox?
seconds.
Lunox.
Okay. Lunox, right? Who we've seen pop up 3 times up to this point, has had a pretty good performance.
Really good, yeah.
Really good.
Really good.
But mostly in the gold lane.
Mostly in the gold lane, right? But so that's not happening here. So
Unless.
Unless. But I think it's highly doubtful here with the Beatrix. But S11 Gaming, I mean, what do they want to take into the gold lane here specifically? And then still, in just a couple seconds, we will find out, is this Joy still going in that jungle? Could it be the Cho here? Now, having the Kadita locked in with that burst potential, you do have a great option to burst someone down from RRQ Akira, but you got to utilize it, and that is the Irithil locked in for the gold lane.
Oh man, Irithil just hasn't been too solid here in M4, the meta currently, but I do like the Grok pick, right? It really stops the momentum that RRQ Akira has, stops them from engaging, and hey, it's also a solid initiation tool.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
Weapon Master Grok or High and Dry Grok?
It depends if he's a roamer or the XP now, right? Because the Cho can still go to
Cho
XP.
can still, yeah.
I think the Grok's going to go to roam position. Looking at the games that, well, yesterday's games, High and Dry, Weapon Mastery, I am biased towards Weapon Mastery, right? The damage that Alien was doing was unreal, and you scale to the later stage of the game. So I think it'll definitely help him up against this kind of composition, which is quite squishy. If you want to look for that one shot, sure, just go for the Weapon Mastery, wait for those items, and then go. But the smartest pick is another, just such a solid choice for RRQ Akira up against so much CC. It's going to cancel out everything.
Yeah, I like it. We've seen now both team compositions here. Arashi, any final thoughts on the team composition you like the most?
I feel like both teams are just so aggressive, but I feel like for RRQ Akira, they have a bit more tools to work around with, a bit more crowd control immunity that will allow them to be a lot more dominant in the vision contesting. So I believe they have a bit of an edge here, but as you mentioned, both teams, they just seem very intent on just diving towards each other.
Well, I gotta say, you know, with RRQ Akira here, they definitely have the tools they need. But I think the biggest thing, again, is that Marches pick, right? How do you utilize that? You're going to be able to dodge a lot of CC here. And then can you also utilize the Kaja pick? Because we've seen games where that struggled as well. But that's going to be it for the draft as we load up into the Land of Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, the last day of the group stages. RRQ Akira versus S11 Gaming.
Oh, you can already see the group up from both of the teams, right? They're just swapping sides right now as both teams, again, are just looking to just help their junglers get the buffs normally. Both junglers opting to go for the purple buff here.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting path they're going to take. There's one thing that's very interesting, though, yeah. Papa Dog.
Is that it? Is that what I was going to point it out to you, man?
Weapon Mastery, right? He didn't go for it. He went for High and Dry here, which is interesting. What do you think about this?
It means that he is going for a lot of 1v1 damage coming in, but of course on the side of RRQ Akira, they also actually went for the Martis in the EXP lane instead. So both teams, again, going to be very aggressive, but I do think that as far as wave clear goes, RRQ Akira has a bit of a lead with the Beatrix, with the Lunox, as well as the Martis. So I think in the early game, that kind of speed and how you can rotate will be critical in deciding who arrives to the fights first.
See, this is why it's so interesting with drafts, because both teams super flex, right? We didn't initially we were like, where's Joy going? She goes in the jungle, okay. Then you have the Kadita in the mid lane not roaming. You have the Cho on the roam, and on the other side, same thing. You actually have the Fredrin in the jungle, right, doing that, and then it was the Martis, who we have seen in the jungle as well often, but he's in the hands of Takashi here, and that matchup alone, Takashi versus Papa Dog, I feel like it's going to be tough for Takashi to get a kill here, whereas Papa Dog could possibly get an early one if he is able to utilize that high and dry emblem. And you can see the team focusing on the bottom side.
Already right early on, Takashi though, on the Martis, that's why they actually opted to put the Martis in the XP lane instead of the jungle. And instead they went for Fredrin in the jungle, which is, again, a weird style, because usually we do see the Fredrin get placed into the XP. But now King is already rotating towards that turtle side, going up against Papa Dog, Jawton, and Erwin. As Erwin jumps in with Way of the Dragon, able to actually bring King all the way back when Takashi looks for a steal. The Divine Judgment comes in onto Jawton, but it's still going to be S11 who takes the turtle. Both teams disengaging, and S11 walk out with the favorable trade.
No one gets taken out, but that is a very quick maneuver from S11, and I thought that RRQ Akira were the ones that were going to put a trigger, because if you look at the composition, they have a lot more burst damage they can play around with, whereas for S11, they have a lot more outplay potential, but it seems like they are the ones that will be picking up first blood.
First blood by S11 and Chan. This is what we said in the keys to victory. He needs to start popping off.
Yeah.
Picks the Kadita, flashy hero, does it. Erwin, with the way the Dragon and the Jikundo, brings King back, and that might just be a kill. King can't dash away. Sagan tries to look for some compensation, but it is not enough just yet.
S11 off to a great start here. And yes, like you mentioned, right, Kadita, if you can get these early kills, you've got that last worship here. You also have the Petrify, which again has been debated. You know, do you run with the Flicker? Do you have the Petrify? Obviously, a lot of more people would opt for the Petrify for that combination to get out one member from RRQ Akira. But already, is there anything that sticks out to your eye here, Arashi, for the emblems?
Of course, we talked about the high end dry already, but we can see actually in the mid lane though, a play happens to interrupt the analysis yet again. This is gonna be a spicy one, boys.
They just don't like you, Arashi. They don't want you to talk, bro.
I understand.
Okay, you understand, right? But Erwin has just been massive here.
I mean, I feel like at this point, most Cho games that we've seen have been very valuable, right? Whichever team decides to go with this hero. And it works so well in the roam because, again, you're able to just allow Jotun to go ahead and farm up, right? You don't really have to worry about too much, and then you come and contest those objectives. The next turtle come up here in just a couple seconds. He's going to be in the right situation, but Papa Dog.
Ooh, almost getting solo killed by Takashi. And again, this Martis in the XP lane in the matchup up against the Grok is working really well, as Louise is going to be able to find a Divine Judgment. That's the Bennett's Rage coming in as well, as Erwin is able to find the way the Dragon onto Louise. Who gets the turtle? It's Chan who takes it and secures it for his team. Both roamers falling, but again, S11 walk out with the better trade.
That's a collateral turtle take from Chan with the rough waves. And S11, they're just doing so much better at abusing the fact that RRQ wants to group together and go for that dive in, because then they group up for that big combo, and later on Papa Dog will be in the mix as well. So RRQ, they need to try and spread out a bit, because in the early game at least, they don't really match that burst damage from the Kadita, so they have to wait for some items to come in for that Bandit's Rage like earlier to actually decimate the HP bars of S11.
Man, right now, Chan is just, the value on this pick is massive for S11 here. And now the focus on the top side. They're actually going to back off, though. The whole team, both squads here, but Erwin.
Almost. Just looking for it, right? Doesn't have the flicker just yet, so he actually stops right there. I do want to talk a little bit about the stakes of the game. If Akira wins this game, guaranteed upper brackets, #1 in the group. But if they lose, there is a chance of a three-way tie once again in this group.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Everyone's ready too. As he flickers under the turret, not going to be able to find the Jikundo though, as Erwin's going to fall under that turret, gets caught. but Sagan falls too. Chan right now is popping off. He's doing what the keys to victory tells him to do. He listens, bro.
He almost instantly gets deleted. I thought he was going to survive, but he got clipped by the rough waves, and that instantly bursted him down. So Chen is so massive right now, but in the bottom side.
The wild charge just stops Takashi unless he's able to do something here. Nope, nothing magical there. He's just going to get taken down, and RRQ Akira are able to find a trade on a turret for kill.
I mean, given the situation that S11 has, RRQ Akira has been finding ways to keep it as close as possible in terms of economy, right? That's best case scenario for them because they're going to have to claw back into this game. Right now, the pace obviously being set by S11. Next turtle's up. You can see even Papa Dog finding the positioning he needs to. And Luis doesn't have Divine Judgment, right? So this is most likely going to be another turtle going in the hands of S11, furthering their lead here objectively, and they'll be able to play around this as pretty much all of their members getting very comfortable in terms of itemization at this point in the game.
This is why it's so difficult when you go for so many late game picks. We saw a similar story from Blacklist, but they are forced to concede so many objectives in the early game, but fortunately for them, they're still able to match the structure takes and even have a bit of a lead. Taking a look at the items right here, Hunter Strike for Takashi means that he can be a lot more aggressive, but Gusta La Gusta with the Blade of Despair will start doing a lot more damage, especially to the squishier members. But of course, once the lightning punching from Chen is completed, the already insane burst will get even worse for the side of RRQ Akira.
Takashi was looking for a steal there, but will be caught on the wild charges. Erwin comes in to rotate, but Jotun's just going to be able to slay him down. The Divine Judgment comes onto Erwin right now as King is able to find a taunt. Sagan picks up the kill, a 1-for-1 right now. Ooh, Chan still able to get out. Jotun, once again, jumping back and forth, trying to get that last proc, but will just decide to disengage as Sagan comes in, just dealing some damage.
And that whole time, Gusta La Gusta almost got taken out on the bottom side by Kai. So, I mean, that's just showing how much of a sort of vacation mode Kai has had. There might be focusing here on the bottom side, but Jotun not even going to let King and Luis get close enough. Still, though, Luis doesn't have the Divine Judgment. This is what RRQ Akira has to do. They have to play around Luis, and that's kind of been the trend for them throughout the group stage, is Luis finding those sets, whether he was playing the Lolita, whether it's the Kaja here. And still, if Gusta La Gusta can continue to grab a couple kills here and there, he's got weapon mastery himself, he will be a threat as the game goes on here.
Luis, we have seen that he really does do a lot more flashy things when he has AoE crowd control that can set up his whole team for a big fight. But whoa, King!
Erwin is able to find that right now, but everybody just collapses. The Petrify is massive by Chan. He finds the Lunox, Sagan's gonna fall, and Luis as well to Kai, who picks up a double. Gusta La Gusta rotates back into the mid lane, but it's a bit late. Takashi is gonna be caught there, jumps in onto the bush, and S11, they've timed that perfectly for the neutral objective to spawn, and that's the Lord.
I wonder if RRQ Akira can be considered doing good or bad right now, because they've been losing a lot of fights, but at the same time, they've been able to minimize the goal difference, the structure difference as well. But now with S11 taking that Lord, if they play the macro game properly and manage all three waves at the same time, they have a chance here to, at one fell swoop, just break down multiple turrets from the side of RRQ Akira.
Man, Erwin... still, just finding these little moments here. We're going to take a look at the replay in just a second, presented by TikTok here. Look at that, right? This is what we call the TikTok play in the Philippines. Comes in with that combination and doesn't die. Like, he's able to survive as well. And then the double there from Kai. That is a massive value here for S11.
What?
Whoa,
hey, yo, what happened? Chan just got caught, and Jotun's looking for that ambush. Luis is going to be taken low. He doesn't have the Divine Judgment, and Jotun's just going to be able to walk him down. Takashi on the back, forced to flicker out very low. Jotun gets traded back as Gusta La Gusta picks up a mega kill. But man, it's just action everywhere, and they don't stop.
They're still going.
Sagan comes in with Wild Charge, will cancel that damage out. Erwin jumps in, now bringing him back with Way to Dragon. As Kai is going to be able to actually deal the damage back onto him. But Gusta and King traded back once again, and it's a shutdown over to Gusta.
Man.
This is a tough situation here because multiple shutdowns were picked up by Gusta La Gusta in that fight. Look at the damage right now.
Okay.
Out of nowhere, he is 6-0.
Okay. The Beatrix does
All right.
damage. What was wrong with all the other Beatrixes at M4?
What's with the win rate?
Yeah.
Well,
He's 6-0.
I
It's
have no
Gusta La
idea.
Gusta, man. He's 6-0. He has the weapon mastery. And just a couple minutes ago, we were like, at one point, Gusta La Gusta, if he can continue to farm up, he is going to be a threat. And this is now. Now we're here, right? This is exactly what we're seeing. They get some more space on the map that they need. They even out the turret situation. But still, S11 is not out of this, right? They still do have quite a bit of control. They've got setups here. But Erwin, at this point, has to be much more careful in the way that he approaches these. And the same thing, Luis, now that he has Divine Judgment, he's feeling a little bit more confident, especially with Gusta La Gusta popping off at this point. He could find a setup that he wants, and then that's an immediate -1 for S11.
It's going to be way harder for S11 to pull off their composition in the later stage of the game, right? They need to use their burst really efficiently towards that back line, and it's Sagan and Gusta. Thing is, Sagan can go invulnerable, and Gusta, the longer the game goes, will have some defensive items, will be a bit harder to catch. Meanwhile, for S11, most of them are open, and most of them can't really, take the prolonged fights here. It's just Kai, but just as I say it, again, Gusta La Gusta, he's dealing a lot towards Papa Dog on that high and dry.
See, that's the thing. As we just said, Luis will pull those into Gusta La Gusta, find a kill, but Chan, though,
Chan still has the rough waves. Is going to be able to get out of that one. A good snipe over just to poke Erwin down, but RRQ are doing good right now. They've gone the turrets down, and they can actually just wait it out. Play the long game, unless everyone gets caught here, and that's just a legendary picked up by Gusta.
That's insane,
What
man.
is Gusta? What? This man's insane.
It's such a tough situation right now because Gusta is relatively survivable. Wow, that's a lot of damage, but he has a has clause as well, so he is sustaining a lot in these fights. And later on, Luis can transition from being an engage tool to a peel tool to ensure that Chan or Jotun, anyone who just dies in the back line, can get instantly shut down and destroyed by the damage coming in from the 8-0 right now, Gusta La Gusta.
oh, look at Chan.
Oh,
He's
I
looking
am.
for a setup here on Gusta if he can find it.
Oh my god, Sagan actually reads it out. Chan's still able to dish out the damage, but again, that's where the Lunox comes in handy.
Awesome.
I thought I was going to hit, and then he's going to go for
Luis
ult,
on the
and then he
hunt,
goes
though.
for the hit. But yeah, Luis is on the hunt. Not really going to be able to commit just yet, though. So, both teams just disengage unless Papa Dog gets caught with a wild charge. He is going to be able to turn it back around onto RRQ Akira. Luis is going to be sprayed down right there as Gusta still dealing a lot of damage in the back. Flickering out to safety as he's going to be able to kite for a bit, but King will fall to the hands of Kai, who's still running wild on RRQ Akira. And picks up a triple kill, and in the mid lane, it's a 1v1 where Chan's going to be able to actually deal out the damage to shut Gusta down. Takashi coming back at it, getting the decimate, and getting a trade back in. It's a 4-for-1.
Out of nowhere. That's a 4-for-1 after securing the Lord. Both these teams right now, after taking a Lord, has gotten taken out very decisively. What is going on? RRQ Akira, they stood there with 2 members in that late game in a Lord push situation.
I mean, now we've been talking about Gusta La Gusta, and Kai has heard it, and he's like, what about me, right? He's 7-1-3, just had a massive play there. So either way, this game can be anybody's game. S11 still in a good position, and a lot of it still. It's the same thing mirrored across these two team compositions. Who gets that pick off? Who finds a person out of their team? I mean, if it's Papa Dog, great, right? If he can get someone from RRQ Akira out of here, and that target is most likely probably going to be Takashi, as we see him trying to focus on these side lane pushes a little bit. But still, as we're about a little over a minute away from that next Lord, it is going to be a crucial to who has the numbers advantage leading up to that objective. But taking a look at the items, how are things going here, Arashi?
A Cursed Helmet and an Oracle for Jotun in the jungle. This is a bit of a hybrid build. He wants to do some damage. He needs to have enough to threaten the backline, but still be tanky enough to survive these big crazy fights. As I'm analyzing, the fight breaks open again, Mirko.
That Divine Judgment was massive, finds the member, but Chan's gonna be able to trade it back onto Sagan, onto Gusta. Kai is still dashing away. Kai is the way of the dragon, brings King back, locks him down for Jotun to deal the damage back in. Erwin with the Jikundo knocks him up. It's an upset in the making once again, as it's another 4-for-1.
Can they actually push into the base here? It's only Luis. There's more than 20 seconds. They're going in.
Erwin with a flicker combo in the Jeep Kundo. The mini wave needs to be cleared out. Luis is trying his best to actually buy some time. 5 seconds onto the Lunox right now. That's going to be Luis jumping in again. And that's S11 Gaming pulling another stop
to upset the odds. RRQ Akira is down. Their 33 consecutive wins have been shut down by S11.
That is such a crazy situation here. The fight is so dynamic. They don't really know what's going on. But S11, with the superior burst, with the more dangerous pick of potential going towards Gusta La Gusta, they're able to make it work. This is an upset, and I think we saw the stats earlier. Everyone is wrong. Ankarakai.
I mean, I gotta say, we painted the